All right, welcome to another episode of A Whiskey Kind of Day. I'm your host, Don Amici, along with Gabriel all the way in Dallas, Fort Worth, the state that's just gone beyond bonkers. We were sitting here talking out before the show about how the governor is trying to make everybody forget they didn't have electricity for a couple of months by allowing them to carry guns out in the open.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. I mean, golly, I just don't understand how the world's getting so crazy and so dangerous out there at the same time.
I'm not an expert in why they're putting this in place, but I do know there is a small sense of if a criminal has an idea that there's a possibility that you have something bigger and better than them, then it's a deterrent all on its own.
I don't think people are thinking that way. We have the death penalty, and people still commit murder, and they still, they still commit crime. It's just
there's also a great injustice in the justice system that we know to be true. So, I mean, listen. There's so many debatable areas in that category that
I get it, man. I get.
We ain't got enough time on this show to even talk about all of it.
I'm just saying, nothing good is going to come from it. That's all I'm saying. But listen. We have a great show for you today.
That's it.
One of our good friends is on the show. She's, a 3-time NAACP award-winning actress.
Come on now.
She's been in TV shows that have been on Fox, Star. She has a daily talk show, not only on the radio, but also on Fox Soul, which is a major digital platform that 20th Century Fox put together. She has her own production company. She's a writer, actress, movie star, director, a good friend, an amazing cook, and she's from Texas.
I haven't had any other food, so I don't know about that one. That's a problem. That's a problem.
If you look at her Facebook page, she will be more than happy to shove it in your face while she's feeding everybody but you. Let's welcome the amazing, vivacious, beautiful, my good friend Tammi Mac to the show. Hello, Tammi Mac. All right.
Cheers.
Yeah. Welcome to the Whiskey Kind of Day.
So I'm drinking a vintage Perrier, as always. You don't have to drink on this show. What are you drinking, Tammi?
It's a cocktail I whipped up myself.
Water with a little bit of lime?
Pretty much. A little bit of peach.
Thank you for taking some time out of your busy day. I know you got a radio show, you got a TV show here in about an hour or so.
I got shows, baby. I got shows.
And you managed to fit this show. And this show is a Whiskey Kind of Day. And you know what? We wanted to talk to you about the business of being an actress. But first, let's just talk about your radio career.
Where did Gabe go?
Gabe is, as always, he's the only one that has technical difficulties on this show. So
it's his show.
He'll pop back in. And listen, for those of you guys watching, if you guys want to ask a question, you can get in on this. You can click the link in the bio, but make sure you enable your cameras. This best works from a desktop. But I see somebody, Kat's trying to get into the show, but Kat, I can't see your video, so I can't pop you in and ask a question. But the first question Gabe wanted to know, which I already know a lot of the answers to this, is how
you could have just interview yourself as me.
How did you get in the radio? Basically, is the major.
You'll be so tired of hearing this story, Don. I feel bad you having to hear it again and again and again.
Well, listen, if it wasn't for your daddy pushing you down there to get you down to the radio station. And fathers, they get very little credit nowadays,
That's a different kind of story. I like that spin you put on it, but it's the truth.
Okay, so what happened was that daddy didn't want to be a babysitter for the day, so he just dropped off at the radio station. And they were like, I don't know what we're going to do here. And then, you ended up working or interning at Kids Jams, which is a big station in Houston, right?
Well, I ended up working at Texas Southern University's radio station, which is KTSU. And at KTSU, they had a program on Saturdays called Kids Jam. And so my father took me there one day. He knew I wanted to be an actress, and so he took me there one day. And Gabe, so this is just any kind of show. Gabe adjusting his camera during the show. This kind of like the this kind of like the Andre. What's that?
Listen, it's one of those things where
I dressed. Hold on, I didn't dress appropriately enough. Listen, I ain't got all fancy. Hold on, I didn't know this was one of them kind of shows.
This is a happy hour.
Yeah. I got it twisted. I got it twisted. I mean, the host just goes on and comes off the show, and then he come on, he fixes his camera.
Gotta get comfortable. See, this is what I'm talking about.
Hold on, and then I went and got my fancy glass. Oh, we don't need no fancy glass. Let me get my.
Where your Dixie cup at? Where your Dixie cup at? You from
Get my damn taco cup here. I mean, what kind of show are we doing here? I just wasn't appropriate, but I'm ready. We ready now. We ready. We ready, Don.
Okay, hold on.
There we go.
Now we ready. Okay.
Right.
This is why I set up in this area right here, because I want to be as LA as possible, because I knew both of you guys were going to represent the LA vibe, the entire Max. So yes, I am poolside just so I can fit in.
Okay.
All right, so tell us how you got up in there, huh? All right, homie.
Hey, nobody believes Dunn is.
I cannot. He like, I'm just gonna fix myself up. Let me see. Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
You done messed up your prayer. So you good. You good.
All right, so you got at the radio station, which is KTSU Southern University. You ended up working on Kids Jam, which is
Southern University. It's a difference.
Texas Southern University. Southern University is far greater, far better.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Wow! Come on! Wow! That sound like fighting words right there. So you ended up working on Kids Jams, and that was the first time you actually got on the air. But you started kind of like everybody starts in radio. You were like answering the phones and doing.
Yeah, I was answering the phones. I was just answering the phones. I was about 15 years old. The only thing they would let me do, huh? Well, I wasn't. It was like a voluntary show. I wasn't getting paid.
Okay, I got you. All right. No.
So so I was 15 years old. All they would allow me to do was answer the phones. And I got a little discouraged by answering the phones, and I wanted to quit. And my dad was like, "You don't want to quit?" You know, he kind of encouraged me to keep going. He was like, "You want to be an actress, right?" I was like, "Yeah, I want to be an actress." He said, "Well, I tell you what, when you pick up the phone and you answer the request line, you need to do your voices, do your funny, silly voices, and make friends with the people requesting the songs, and maybe the DJ will play that song, and then the people will think you paid the song." And I was like, this sound kind of fishy, Dad. I don't know about that. This sound like you punking me right now. But I'll give it a try.
Was that a big thing though? Was that like really a big thing if you were to tell the DJ to play the song, and then he actually played the song, and you was like, "Yeah, I got that."
I mean, she was the girl with the hookup. She had the
that was that. Let me tell you, I am a radio buff.
Right.
So I have always listened to the radio from the time I woke up in the morning to the time I go to sleep. I've always gone to sleep with the radio on. I don't do it as much anymore because I listen to the radio all day. I'm on the radio. Yeah. But it is always a listener's it is a listener's dream to call the radio station, ask for Donna Summer Bad Girls, and then the next song is Donna Summer's Bad Girl. Like, that is a listener's dream.
You know, a lot of people don't know we can get in trouble for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, why are you playing Donna Summer's so-and-so? It was a request.
Well, we can today, Don. We can today. Yeah. But because it's a new day in radio now. Yeah. But back then in the 80s and the 90s and any years prior to that, the DJ played what the hell they wanted to play. Yeah. But that's not what happens today. DJs don't play what they want to play. And for people who listen to the radio, and you're like, why they keep playing the same old songs? Because it's a system. Right. And it's people at the top who are programming the people at the bottom to play these songs because they're in cahoots with the record labels.
Yeah.
I work at one of the only stations that probably, will allow you to play the music that you want to play. So.
Yeah, right. Radio free, which is
radio free. That's a good statement. So how does it feel to work at a radio station owned by such a legend? like Stevie
Wonder? How does it feel? Well, it feels surreal because you never would think that you would meet Stevie Wonder a day in your life. Like, why would you? And then it feels surreal because you definitely wouldn't think that you could have a relationship with Stevie Wonder in any kind of way. So, yeah. My camera's not on?
No, not you. This somebody else trying to jump into the whatchamacallit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for those reasons alone, I think, how does it feel to work with Stevie Wonder? It feels surreal. It feels very surreal. Like it's something that you would never imagine that would happen in a lifetime.
You know, that's one of the awesome things that I've admired about both you guys' career. Stevie Wonder has always been, you know, one of those icons that I always wanted to meet, and it's because you know, my friendship with both you guys that I got a chance to actually meet him, and it was one of the best moments of my life. I don't get starstruck, but you know, even meeting him and just knowing how he reacted and you know, interacting with you guys. And when I got a chance to meet him, it was just like, you know, I was just, you know, hey, you're Don's friend. Hey, well, you like family. And it was an amazing moment just because he was so welcoming because of the relationship I had with you guys. And so I can only imagine being in that fold on a consistent basis. And you know, I think it's absolutely amazing. But also, you guys still do an amazing job on the airways, which, you know, gives you guys the accolades and the power to be great you guys selves. And just, you know, knowing both of you and what you guys done has been an amazing journey for me as well. Because I mean, I enjoy watching you guys do your thing. Every time I see I'm watching TV and Tammy pops up on a commercial, I go, there go Tammy again.
What you need to be saying is, there go Tammy checks again.
Listen, I'm counting checks too. I'm counting your bank account. Every time I see you, I say, I wonder how much you got paid on that one. What was that State Farm?
Yeah, she be having 25 of them rolling all at once. I can't stop her.
I got one coming out now. I just did one last week.
Yeah, worse when you're watching a TV show. She in the TV show, then the commercial pop up. She in the commercial on the same damn time, and I'm like, why can't I escape? I have a moment free to myself.
But you know what, Don? I'm gonna say something about that, and I think I shared this with you before, but you might have forgotten. You know, sometimes I get a little I feel a certain kind of way because you know, my celebrity status is real low on the totem pole, right? Yeah, I'm sure we got like 2 viewers right now. My celebrity status is low on the totem pole.
We got more.
But I will say this. For me, just like you mentioned, Don, like I might be in a TV show, and then in that TV show, I'm in the commercial that's playing during that TV show. The only reason I can get away with that is because I'm at a celebrity status where I still have anonymity.
Right.
And so it works for me. I can do commercials and television shows and a radio show and talk shit about white America on my television show and not be penalized by it.
You got really militant on that show now.
Yeah, I know. I know. I got to ease up because, you know, I don't want to piss nobody off. I don't want to stop my jobs from coming.
Gabe wanted to know, who was your favorite person to interview?
Yeah, that was going to be who that you interviewed.
This is for a radio person, it's a very hard question. I mean, for me, it's a hard question because I've had so many great interviews.
For both you guys, I would like to know who's your favorite person to have interviewed in the past.
Who came in the studio and talked one time? Somebody came in and really talked. I don't know if it was a Tank.
I don't know. For me, I think my 2 favorite interviews, and you'll be surprised, were Mario and Lucky Day.
Mario and Lucky Day.
Yeah. Lucky Day really went into how his mother was a part of a cult and how he ran away from home and just read the Bible from the cover to cover for an entire year so that he could understand what and who God was himself outside of his mother's cult life that she was living. And he talked about how he distanced himself from everybody, no friends, no family, no nothing. And he kind of lived homeless for a certain amount of time. and nobody had really ever talked about to Lucky Day about that. And he just kind of opened up and started sharing more and more with me. And so that was one of my favorite interviews because it was about this young man who was kind of coming into himself. And then Mario was one of my favorite interviews because he shared how his mother went through drug addiction, and his mother ended up dying, right? And he talked about how he had to forgive his mother before she died, long before she died, because he ended up moving his mother in with him, trying to take care of her and making him a part of her world so that she could get off drugs. Unfortunately, that did not happen for him. But he said that he forgave her long before that. And he had to forgive her because if you don't forgive people, this is what Mario taught me. If you don't forgive people, then you judge people. And when you judge people, you tend to put your emotions on them of hate or disdain or however you feel. You can't love someone that you judge.
Wow.
Is what he said to me.
You know, I love it when artists come into the studio and really it's kind of a rarity. But when they come in and they just open up and they just give you a real personal aspect of their life and really connect with the audience. You know, I've interviewed so many artists throughout my career, you know, both of us, it's a rarity when they come in and share something that personal. And it really makes a greater interview because really here you are humanizing an artist who has some music that they're here to share, but also it's humanizing them on a whole nother level that shows that they go through the same things that you may have gone through, you know, and maybe how they help heal from that whole situation. That's a dope.
But also, I'll say this: it's also incumbent on the host to be able to get that information from the person that's being interviewed. How comfortable do they feel with you sharing their stories? How much do they respect you? What kind of day are they having? And are you going to make their day worse? Or are you going to make their day better? Because I've had horrible interviews too, where I just had to get people out. K. Michelle was one. K. Michelle came in and I don't know what she was on. And I had to be like, okay, thank you very much, K. Michelle. You know, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. Have a great day. I could get nothing out of her.
Did she not want to? She didn't want to talk. She just was very.
She didn't want to talk. Well, I eventually found out that maybe she had been medicated, and the medicine had taken a toll on her to where she kind of was out of it. And so I guess that's what happened. I don't know. It could have just been the way that her people spent the story. Because you have these promoters and record companies and TV stations that they find a way to, I'm not promoters, public relations people, publicists, and they find a way to spin it so that the narrative about their particular client is not a negative one. So
I understand.
Would you tell people to get in the radio right now?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
That's an interesting statement. Why would you say that?
Because nobody's listening to radio.
Yeah.
Everybody's listening to Spotify, Pandora, not even Pandora anymore. Spotify, Apple Music. Everybody's digital now. I mean, this
on-demand type of stuff.
A whiskey kind of day. This is a digital program. This is a digital platform, and everybody is digital.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I wouldn't even advise people to go to TV because nobody's watching TV. I mean, I sound so old. Back in my day, there were only 3 television networks: ABC, CBS, and NBC. And now you have you have so many cable stations, first of all, that you can't even watch them all. And then you add all of the platforms that you have, the Tubies, the Rokus, their platforms. And then you have all of the digital sources. Like this is coming from a completely different digital source. Right. So yeah, the world is changing. And to hold on to something that is probably going to phase out is a bad idea. Now, will it ever come back? Probably, because the world is secular. What goes around comes around, you know?
Yeah, I think radio has to do a good job of reinventing itself to make it to where people use it more frequently than they use it when just by listening to the radio. Like the radio and I equate this to what the record companies didn't do when Napster came out, was adjust to the new technology. And radio has not done a good enough job adjusting to the digital platforms and digital technology and digital media. They're still like, use us and turn us on, instead of how do I get you to use me when you're at home on your phone? How do I bring you back into the radio station brand? And until they figure that out, it's really going to be a dwindling business. Even if you look at the ratings are, all of the younger radio stations are starting to slip from the number one spots, and all of the other stations are starting to become number one, because older people still are stuck in their ways and they still listen to the radio. But
you can definitely tell statistically how radio is trending. All of the big time stations that were once number one, number two, number three, that held like hip hop music, pop music, those stations have gone from number 1, 2, 3 to number 8, 9, 10, and sometimes below. And all of the new stations have gone to the top. All of the older stations have gotten to the top because, like Don said, those are the people that are still listening to radio. But if you're trying to get somebody 18 years old, they damn don't even know what radio is.
They're like, oh, isn't that for old people?
Yeah.
That's the old time. So how did you moving on from radio over into your acting world, how did you make the transition from radio into acting? Like, was this something that you always wanted to do from the get-go? Like, I want to be an actress, and you just stuck with radio from because it was kind of what you had been doing?
I'm looking at Gabe. I'm trying to figure out what he's doing over there. What is he doing?
Hey, I'm having a whiskey kind of day.
What is going on?
Don't worry, the baby gonna come in the shot in a minute, and you're gonna, you're gonna start drinking the whiskey and all kind of stuff.
No, listen, damn it. What are you drinking? What are you drinking over there?
It's a cocktail I whipped up myself.
Cocktail you whipped up. See that?
Yes.
That's food coloring and water. I already know what that is. Come on.
I never transitioned. Look, I never transitioned. I still have a penis.
My pronouns are actor or actress.
Right, actor or actress. I still have a penis. I'm transitioning very slowly. I've always done both. I was in radio when I was 15, so I've always been acting and doing radio at the same time, all the time. My undergraduate degree is in journalism, and my Master of Fine Arts is in theater. So I've always done them both.
But there was a point where you said, I'm going to move to LA, and I'm going to, because you had worked in Greensboro, Birmingham, Alabama on the radio. You were in Memphis for a little bit. And there was a point where he says, I'm going to put that down, or not put that down, but I'm going to go to LA, and I'm going to try to professionally take on the acting world and do this as a 9 to 5. Like, what was the snap that said, I'm going to do that?
I got fired from my job in Birmingham, Alabama.
Fired?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I got fired just 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
I got fired just yesterday.
You got fired. What happened? Was it your fault? Did you do something? You cut somebody out? You from Texas?
Nothing ever happens in radio. They just decide they want to do something new, and that's what happened. I was doing the morning show with Ricky Smiley, Chris Coleman, and me. We were called the home team. And Ricky Smiley became really big, and he left. And then Chris Coleman got fired, and they replaced Ricky with a young aspiring comedian named Sid Delaney. And then they replaced Chris with B. Bryan, and we became the home team. And they weren't necessarily happy with the show because they felt like we didn't bring enough comedy. We didn't bring enough blackness. We started talking about stuff like, this is interesting because I'm just now thinking about it, but we started talking about stuff like pushing people out to vote. We started talking about the congressmen and senators, and we started talking about city council members. Like, we got a little more in depth into.
You trying to wake the people up? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah. Wake the people
was
up.
ruffling feathers. That's what it was.
In between Snoop Dogg songs, we were trying to wake the people up, and I think that they were not happy with that at all, and was like, we got to get somebody else in here to do. They asked us to do prank phone calls. I refused to do prank phone calls. So they were like, we got to get somebody in here to be an ass because they too serious. We can't do this.
Wow.
And they got rid of the whole team.
Wow.
So you said, you know what? I'm not that I'm done with radio, but I'm just going to use this opportunity to say, you know what? Let me go. Like, was there just you got fired? You didn't think about going to go do radio, or you just said, you know what? I'm just going to try. Like, what clicked once you got fired and said, I'm going to come. I need to move to LA and pursue this acting thing full time.
I don't know. I don't know.
Different.
I don't know. It wasn't anything different because it was always my dream.
Right.
So keep in mind, I was acting in Birmingham. Like I have always been acting.
Okay.
So I was doing little independent films in Birmingham. I was doing commercials when I was in Birmingham, when I was in Greensboro. I mean, I was auditioning for movies like Ray with Jamie Foxx. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was just a decision. It was a decision that you made to say, you know what, Birmingham is done. I'm moving to LA.
Well, what happened was when I lost my job in Birmingham, I moved back to Houston so that I can kind of get my bearings straight. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know
get home
what my plan was. Yeah, so I'm like, let me go home to my mama and and get a little mama love because ain't nothing like that mama love. You know, ain't nothing like mama to say, oh, baby, you've been good all your life. You can handle it. You strong. You're a strong Black woman. You got this. Do it. You know, what you want to eat, baby, let me fix you something. You know, here's a little change, you know, go on and put the gas in your car. You know, so I needed that mama love. So I went back home, got that mama love. And from home, I started like applying for radio and television jobs, mainly news jobs because journalism was my thing. So I started applying for those types of jobs while I was in Houston. And I applied almost everywhere. Like I applied in Houston, I applied in Cali. So Cali was on my mind. It was just only on my mind if I got something.
Right.
And then I was watching the Oscars, I think it was, and somebody Black won an Oscar. And I said, oh, I'm sitting here in my mama bed. I can't do this no more. And Black people winning Oscars.
Wow.
And within a week, I was gone.
Wow.
Like that.
Hey,
I had packed up everything and I left. And what I did, and I tell people this all the time, but what I did was I scheduled myself interviews with every radio station I wanted to work at in LA. I scheduled myself interviews with program directors in LA. And I say I scheduled myself because I would call them and say, hey, this is Tammi Mac. I'm like, Robert Scorpio was one of them. Robert Scorpio was the program director at The Beat.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was The Beat. Yeah, at The Beat. And let me tell you, if you call a program director at a radio station, you are going straight to voicemail. You're never going to get him. Don Amici was lucky when the program director at KGLH literally picked up.
Yeah, I only got lucky because his brother's name is Don Amici and thought his brother was calling it. True story.
Oh yeah, that's right. His brother's name was Don Amici. He thought you was his brother.
True story. True story. Okay.
And that's how he got in. And so I called Robert Scorpio. The phone went to voicemail, and I said, "Hey, Scorpio, this is Tammi Mac. I'm coming into LA, and I'm moving to LA. I'd like to interview with you for a radio position at The Beat. I'll be there Monday at 11 a.m. at your office."
I like that.
I said, if you have a problem with it, call me and let me know so we can adjust the time.
I love that. Okay, first of all, that's a great nugget right there. Schedule yourself an interview. I'm going to be here. Here's the time. If you don't want me to come, let me know. And that's beautiful. That is.
Well, it wasn't my idea. I got the idea from this. When I worked in Birmingham, there was a sales associate named Pam. And Pam said, as a salesperson, she would schedule her own interviews. And I said, what do you mean by that? She said, you have to let them call you and tell you no. No. You don't tell yourself no.
That's amazing.
Wow.
And so that's what I did. And so everybody that I called, I end up interviewing with. Everybody.
So you showed up with Robert Scorpio. Now, did you guys connect on the Houston thing? Because I know Scorpio was at. I want to say Scorpio was at the box in Houston before Tom Calicote.
He was.
Yeah. So did y'all connect on the Houston?
Scorpio was at Magic One. Scorpio was in Houston for a long time. When I was in high school, I was listening to him. He was a deep, like he was a wooka DJ.
Oh, word. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay. Yeah. So you show up, he says, "Hey Tammy, how you doing?" Like he wasn't.
I show up, he brings me in, shows me around the station. I did that for 4 program directors.
Wow.
All of them saw me.
Wow.
All of them.
That is an amazing story.
That is absolutely amazing. That's the first time I've heard that.
It talks about the confidence that you had during a time where most people may have been defeated. You lost your job. You're sitting at home with your mom. You can't be.
Well, I was defeated. I was sitting at home with my mama, so I was defeated.
Right. Most people who are defeated, they're in this slump of woe is me, waiting on that next opportunity. Where you took this moment, you was like, it's not going to come. I'm gonna have to make it. I'm gonna have to make these opportunities that's in front of me, and you took the initiative to make them or force them to either call and say no, or guess what? I'm walking through your door expecting to see you.
Yeah, and let me tell you, I went to see Jimmy Steele. Is it Jimmy Steele?
Jimmy Steele, Power 106.
Was that what, Power 106? Okay, so here's a funny story. And that's where Big Boy used to work, right? Mm-hmm. So I went to see Jimmy Steele at Power 106 in LA. And I had scheduled my own appointment with Jimmy Steele, right? And so I go at the appointed time. I
love it. The balls. I love it.
And I tell the receptionist, I said, I have an appointment.
She's still transitioning.
Yeah, I'm still. So I tell the receptionist, I'm Tammi Mac. I have an appointment with Jimmy Steele at 11 a.m. And she says, okay, hold on one second. So apparently she goes back to Jim. Oh, I missed a huge part. Everybody that I scheduled an appointment with, I sent them one shoe with a letter that said, I'm just trying to get my foot in the door.
I love it.
So I had those matching shoes in my trunk as I went to these different places, right?
Get your shoe back.
So I go to Jimmy Steele, and the receptionist goes to get Jimmy Steele, and she comes back and she says, oh, he's unavailable right now. Can you come back another time or give him a call? He said he's booked for today. And I said, I'm not leaving him here without talking to Jimmy Steele. So I got to figure something out. So I said, okay, thank you. And I walked out. And as I walked out and opened the door, I thought about my shoe. I said, my foot in the door. He's got my other shoe. So I go downstairs to my trunk, pull my shoe out, go back upstairs, give it to the receptionist. And I said, could you tell him he has the other one? I'll need it. She took that shoe. Can you imagine what implications that has?
I mean, you got it. First of all, I think from someone like his stature, if I was on it, and I would just take a minute just to meet with you, just on the creativity tip, just because I'm like, you going through all of this. That's balls, because they don't see that.
So I said to her, I said, he has the matching one. Could you please tell him to either keep this one or bring me the other one? She said, hold on 1 minute. She gets on the phone, says whatever she said. No, the first time she got on the phone, this time she got up, walked to wherever he was, and he walked back with her. And we sat down and I interviewed with Jimmy Steele.
Yeah, wow. Let me tell you something. I called him for months trying to get him on the phone. He's not an easy person to get on the phone.
Yeah, he was at the biggest radio. He was at the #1 radio station in the #2 market. Why would he
transitioning?
Why would he pick up the phone?
Well, yeah, I only got through to him after multiple phone calls for maybe about a month and cosigns from people that he know in New York. That's the only way I got through to him. But
from that point on, though, I kept in touch with Jimmy, and he kept in touch with me. So
I mean, that's memorable. You can't.
So I mean, I honestly believe, and I, as the years went on, we oftentimes kind of just touched each other to see what was going on. I have no doubt that if I reached out to him today, he would take my phone call.
I got a question. So were these shoes that you wore, or did you buy new shoes and shit to people?
No, I didn't buy. I'm a shoe fanatic, so I have a ton of shoes.
And did you get your shoe back?
I didn't get any of my shoes back, but I made sure to give shoes that I wouldn't want back. And I knew I was moving to LA, so it didn't matter much to me because I didn't have, I didn't really have the space and the opportunity to hold a whole bunch of shoes and nothing else, to be honest.
Interview/Goodwill drop off.
Exactly.
I got a question. So, how was it being from Texas, growing up in Texas, and then moving to LA? How was that transition for you?
They're one and the same. Houston is really big and spaced out like LA. Houston is at the Gulf of Mexico. Los Angeles is, both Texas and Los Angeles were stolen. Or stolen states from America that belong to Mexico.
Yeah, so, they both belong to Mexico. Technically, you're right.
Pretty much the same. The traffic is thick. The highways are multiple. It was pretty. It was the same to me. It was like I belonged in LA.
It was easy. It was just a transition.
But so let's talk about some of the costs of being an actress in Los Angeles. What were some unexpected costs, or what did you have to prepare for financially when you came out here? Because it's a very expensive city to live in. Trying to get into a radio station it's very cliquish out here. Also, even if you get an interview, there's no guarantee you're going to get in. I
will say this real quick, Don. I will say this: Robert Scorpio ended up offering me a job years later, a few years later.
So it did pay off. But initially coming out here, the cost of saying I'm going to go to LA and be an actress, what were some of those costs that you kind of ran into making this move into LA? Things that you may not have expected, whether it be apartment or acting classes or figuring out actors access or LA casting, looking for like what kind of money did you have to put down to kind of jump into the acting scene in Los Angeles?
Well, I didn't know anything, so I had to learn everything. I didn't know anything about acting.
So when you came out here, you were just like, I'm just going to get out there. I'm going to go find me an agent. I'm just going to go make that happen.
Yeah, and I thought it would happen within the first year. So I think that's what surprised me most. I believed and trusted in myself, my abilities, my talent, and my skills so much that I thought a year, I'll be on a television show rolling. We're about 16 years in. I'm still not on a television show rolling.
Okay, so a big unexpected cost was the amount of time that you were going to have to sit in here doing prep work in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
How long was it before you moved out here where you got a door open for you? Was it Strong Medicine or was it McDonald's?
I was going to ask. I'm not sure what the door opening means because
before you started working out here as an actress in Los Angeles.
Because I want to make it clear though, when a door opens, it doesn't necessarily mean a job in LA. When a door opens, it could mean several things. It could mean a connection that you've made that is going to be beneficial in the long run. That's my relationship with Vanessa Bell Calloway. It could be a play that you ended up being in, and then you garner this network of friends and colleagues that you grind with and can have collective thoughts and projects with. I mean, I think the door opening in LA means so many different things. But if you're asking what was my first real job, acting job, it was Strong Medicine on Lifetime television. And I had a fantastic role. And I think it's the best acting I've ever done since I've been in Los Angeles. And that was in 2008, I believe.
Wow.
How did you end up getting Strong Medicine?
I had an agent. I didn't even have an agent. I had someone when I first came. I would get into all of these contests, these acting contests, and they cost money. They cost like $500, $1,000, or this or that. Well, this one acting contest I got into, they gave me a scholarship because they thought I was so good, and so they paid for me to enter. Well, I came in second, and there's $1,000 prize first place, $500 prize for second place, and $300 prize for third. I came in second place, but they refused to give me my $500 because I was on a scholarship.
What?
So I'm like, well, did I really win, or did y'all just make me win so you keep your money?
Keep the money. Wow.
Wow. So
but at that particular event, there was a young man who worked at a talent agent who said to me, I can't sign you because we're a big agency, but I want to hip pocket you, which means I want to kind of hold you in my pocket and send you on stuff here and there that I can get you into. And if you book enough jobs, I can convince the agency to sign you. So he hip pocketed me, and he sent me on a lot of stuff that I almost got. A lot of stuff I almost got. So I wasn't doing bad. I was doing excellent. And then Strong Medicine, by the time I booked Strong Medicine, I had already gone in for the casting director like 7-8 times.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And then I finally booked something. And what's interesting is because he was hip pocketing me, I felt like I wasn't getting any feedback or anything. So I called the casting agent myself. I said, hey, I've been in with you like 4 or 5 times already. Can you please help me and let me know what I'm doing wrong? He said, if I'm still calling you in, you're doing absolutely nothing wrong. Everything's right. We just got to find the one for you. And the one for me popped up.
Wow.
That's pretty dope. That's very dope. That's interesting. Like when I first moved to Los Angeles, my journey was I thoroughly thought it out, planned it, and I got out there and kind of my same thing. I was like, I'm gonna be on TV or doing my thing in a year's time. And for me, I was there 3 months, and then I was in a major motorcycle accident, and that's kind of LA for you. You just absolutely don't know how it's going to treat you or what your journey is going to be, and you got to just be prepared to weather whatever that storm is. And to know, Tammi, I mean, I didn't know this story about you, but to know that you weathered Los Angeles so much, knowing how challenging Los Angeles can be mentally. Cheers to you on that.
And that's interesting you say the mentally thing, because I did not know that it would be mentally challenging to move to Los Angeles. So if I was to share anything with people who want to come out and live this dream, I would tell them, prepare for the mental agony that you're going to receive. Because I had 2 panic attacks, and it set me back.
Wow.
When it happened, and one was so bad that my aunt and uncle had to fly out to make sure that I would survive. And they were like, you know, you can always come home. You can come home. We will not consider you a failure if you come home. I said, but I will. So I'm not coming home.
Was it the constant rejection of knocking on every door?
Because that's more than that. It's so much more than that. It's more than that. I mean, rejection is rejection. You know, everybody gets rejected. But you're in this land that you don't know anyone. You don't have any family. Keep in mind, when I moved to LA, all my family's in Houston. Mm-hmm. So you move here, and it's not like I moved here to go to college where you're in this bubble. Right. You know, if you go to college, you're in a little bubble, and you begin to meet people who also are in the bubble. But when you come to LA, the bubble is this whole freaking city,
right?
Which is full of 11 million people. And you don't know where to start. And I mean, it's simple stuff, Don, that you as a Los Angeles native wouldn't understand. Like, for instance, when I ask for directions and somebody tells me to go south or go north, where the fuck is that? Is that left or is that right?
That's real. I mean,
and you're sitting in the middle of the 405 not knowing where you are. And when I say sitting, I mean you're literally sitting because it ain't nobody moving. Nobody's going anywhere.
So it was that overwhelming for you? The city was that overwhelming for you when you got here?
Oh, it's extremely overwhelming for anyone who's never been here.
I agree. It was.
You know what? I grew up in this mess, so it seems small to me. But that's me though. You know, I'm
gonna tell you. So for me, I'm kind of an adventurous. So I like exploring. I like getting out. I like finding the unknown to me and exploring that. So for me, it was more of a challenge, but it was still overwhelming. And I can understand how if someone is coming there and they're, I mean, like for example, when I moved to LA, I moved straight in the heart of Hollywood because I was like, yo, if I'm gonna get a job, I gotta be in Hollywood. I gotta do this, this, and this. And I get that, I'm like, there is no real jobs in Hollywood. Hollywood is a phony. It's a tourist town. It's not really what you would perceive Hollywood to be in the sense of what they make it. So no, it can be completely overwhelming because once you get entrenched in what LA is, it is completely different from what the ideal of what LA is. And so you have to quickly adapt, or it's like you're gonna be lost.
Yeah, you get here and you think, oh, I'll just meet Steven Spielberg and he'll give me a part.
I'm gonna eat brunch on Sunset and get discovered.
Yeah, that's your thought, and
That's
you
the
think
thought.
I'm so good, they can't turn me down. I'm too damn good.
I just somebody just need to see my monologue, and the minute they see my monologue, it's gonna pop.
Monologue.
That's it.
Wow.
Here's my demo reel on this disc that I have. That you have a laptop ready to play in your pocket.
Hold on, here my hands.
I
I got this treatment. This the next Seinfeld.
It's the next. Yeah. I got the next Cosby Show right here in my hand.
The next great show that you have ever never seen before is in my hand. I just need you to come by this table.
Yeah, it's very overwhelming. But I'm talking about outside of you coming because you want to be a part of the industry. It's overwhelming outside of that.
Right.
You know, it's just because you, like I said, you're stuck in 405 traffic. You don't know whether to go north or south, and you're running out of gas. And by the time you get to an exit, you can't get to an exit and get right back on. You got to circle all the way around, go through some hoops, come turn around, go through the city, go through the neighborhood, go up a mountain, down a mountain, and then figure out what freeway you was on in the first place. And you try to get to the gas station, and the gas is like $5,500 a gallon. And you like,
I bet that was a shock right there. You know what's so funny? I actually ran out of gas 10 feet away, sitting in traffic, 10 feet away from the gas station. We were moving inch by inch, and I'm like, oh shit, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. I'm like, the gas station is right. I literally ran out of gas rolling into the gas station. I had to push like 10 feet to a pump.
Wow.
That's LA, but that's LA traffic, depending on what's happening out in the city. So what was that? What was a myth that you heard about Los Angeles or Hollywood that became real?
a myth that became real?
Yeah, a myth or a myth that you found out was real, or a myth that you found out was wrong.
I can't think of anything.
Like, was the casting couch real?
The casting couch is real. The casting couch is realer than real. That's not a myth. Yes, I've been on it before.
Oh.
Yes,
Wait. I don't know if this show is prepared for this.
Listen, you know,
I've been on the casting couch, but to no avail. I still don't have a television show. I still don't have a television show.
You was there, but that's about as far as it went.
I've worked with Tammi for over a decade, and if you could see the things that I've seen when it comes to people in this industry around women, you would rethink of your whole madness. If like, oh my God, is this how we really are?
But it's not the industry though, Don. It's women anywhere, you know, it's anywhere. It's anywhere.
Wow.
You don't have to be in the industry to feel a certain way if you're a woman.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're an actress, you're a radio personality. You're also a producer, you know. You put together this variety show. I remember when you first talked about it in Max Minute Microphone Mixer.
Do you remember? Really?
I remember when you first talking about it, and you put it. That's one thing I've always known about Tammi, is that when she puts her mind to something, she puts it. It's in there. She sits in it, and she makes it happen. It's one of the most things. It's one of the things I admire about her the most. Even when she bought a house and writing a script or whatever. But you put Max Minute Microphone Mixer together, which was an amazing event that a lot of actors really liked and still talk about to this day. What was it like from going from, okay, I'm doing the radio thing because you're working at KHLH in Los Angeles, you're an actor at the same time too. Now you're moving into this other sphere of producing an event to help actors and showcase yourself off at the same time and bring industry people together to kind of see new talent. What was it like doing that?
I would tell you how the idea came up. A good friend of mine and I were talking, and I was unhappy in LA, and I was unhappy on the radio. I felt unproductive, if you will. Mm-hmm. I felt like I was spinning my wheels, and Birmingham was the happiest place. Birmingham was my Disneyland. It was the happiest place on earth for me when I was in Birmingham. I loved going to work every day. I loved hanging out every day with my friends and the city of Birmingham. It was just, I was living high on a hog in Birmingham. And I would always talk about Birmingham. And so one day my girlfriend said to me, you need to recreate Birmingham in LA. So let's write down a list of things that made you feel good about being in Birmingham.
Wow.
And so I remembered that when I first got to Birmingham, I was miserable. And I was miserable because Ricky Smiley was this big time comedian in Birmingham because he'd been on Def Comedy Jam or Comic View, whichever one it was. And then the other guy who was on the show, Chris Coleman, he was the baddest DJ in Birmingham, and they were both from Birmingham. Mm-hmm. So they were hometown heroes, hence the name of the show, The Home Team.
Right.
I come in from Greensboro, North Carolina, by way of Houston, Texas. I don't know anybody. Chris Coleman tells me you got to get out and get lost in the city, right? So that you can know people. And I didn't know anybody. And I remember complaining to Jackson how Ricky is this big time person. Chris is this big time person. And I'm like a nobody. I'm like the woman on the show that laughs at the jokes. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be that person. I'm more than that. And he said, well, if you're more than that, then be more than that. And I was like, what does that mean? What does that mean? And so I had this little come to Jesus moment with myself. Like, how do you become more than that, Tammy? What is it that you possess that they don't possess that you can highlight? Because we always, all the time, looking at other people and what they got and what they doing and what they gifts are and what, if only I had what he had, if only I had what she had. But the truth of the matter is, if only you had what you had.
Right. Well, you got to preach, Tammy. Come on now.
And so Ricky was a comedian and he did it at the highest level. Chris Coleman was a mixer and he did it at the highest level. What was I? Is what I asked myself. And I said, I'm an actress. I'm an actress. I'm a poet. I create and I produce shit. That's what I do.
Come on.
So what can I do? So I decided in Birmingham to produce these plays for the Birmingham School District. And I would use the radio station to promote it so that it would be a collaboration with the Birmingham School District and the radio station to bring these theatrical productions into the school district's system about Black people. Mm-hmm. The school district loved it. They gave me an award for it. They wanted me to do it again. And then Love Jones came out. No. Love Jones was out long before that. But Love Jones, there was still like all of the people from Love Jones was popping at that time. Right. And I was like, so I'm gonna do my poetry. I love poetry. So I started doing Love Jones Wednesday, where people would come out and do spoken word. And I was a spoken word artist, so I would do spoken word too. And so what I realized when my girlfriend in LA said, what was it about Birmingham? And I said, I was doing other things. And she said, so how can you do other things in LA? What do you do? And I used the same formula in Birmingham as I did in LA. I was like, what is it that I do? I'm on the radio, but what do? I act. And then I was like, and I do monologues. I just pop up on people and do monologues. What if I create a space that's safe and that matters and I can connect people and allow them to do monologues on stage and really have the benefit from that. And that's how those mixers came across. I wanted to do more than just be a DJ. And I also wanted to, this was another way for me to network and to get to know people. I'm talking about people who had power in Hollywood.
That's dope.
And what it did for me that I didn't know it would do for me was make me one of those people with a little power. And I had no idea. Like, that was never why I did it. I did it so I could get on. But other people started. Right?
Isn't it amazing though? Like the legend of Tammi Mac grows. You create this thing, and then people start looking at you. Like, you never know how people are looking at you.
Right. I didn't get it. I was like, I didn't get it. I literally didn't. I mean, I did it so I could get on. Other people started getting on. And because other people started getting on, other people started finding out that other people was getting on. So I became the person that you needed to talk to get on.
I used to call her the Harriet Tubman of the underground actor.
Hey, Doug, but that goes back to the conversation we had a couple of weeks ago where we was talking about the philanthropy of these businesses. When you're in position and you're putting your energy not only into how you move forward, but also to how you give back. Mm-hmm. That give back game is just as important. And I think that has a lot to do with what you're talking about, Tammi, is when you put that energy towards giving back and giving other people these opportunities, people start to really see the full value of who you were, more than just the radio, and just say, hey, she's a talent beyond radio, and her talent gravitates towards people and bring people together. And I remember the first time I went to the Tammi Mac Minute Mixer. I think Dunn invited me out, and it was one of the best times I had. This was I invited a good friend, my late friend, Tracy. I mean, we had a blast.
Yeah, Tracy.
Yeah, we had a blast.
To hear more performed out there. Stevie Wonder showed up. Robbie Reed came out.
John Singleton loved every moment of it.
John Singleton, whose office was like two doors down. Robert Townsend came out. A lot of people came out and showed love, and that was very nice.
That's Belle Calloway. She was a big part of that. If I remember correctly.
We were partners.
Yeah. So I mean, who cannot,
also, you can't forget about him. It's amazing though that a lot of people, your village came together to help you out to put this
Absolutely.
together. Because I remember sitting in the studio cutting the commercials.
Yeah, I was like, you did the commercial.
We gonna make this work. But I think that's another key thing also is that you have a village around you that has been there to help you out and Absolutely. to help facilitate your ideas, whether it's me or Jackson or Don B. Welch or Vanessa Bell Calloway, you know what I'm saying? And they see that you're really trying to do something good. And then I think they also pull from their network to help make this kind of a big thing. And it has a great memory in a lot of actors' minds.
And I'm going to do it again. I promise myself that if ever I am on the big screen in a movie, I will bring the mixers back. So I am waiting to be a part of a movie that hits the big screen, and the very next month I'm going to do the mixes.
What are you branching out? Do you see yourself branching out more and more? I mean, I know the answer to this, but do you see yourself branching out more and more because you love to write and trying to start flexing that muscle more and more on a consistent basis?
One of the guys who used to come to my mixers all the time, Gino Brooks, we're actually getting ready to produce a movie together. So,
wow. Yes, I can't. I've been hearing about this movie, and she's been putting she put in mind to something.
You know, once you start having to hear about stuff for 2 and 3 years, Don.
Listen, well, listen, we almost are running out of time. Just a couple more questions. What are some things that keep you grounded and focused in this whole thing? You've got a radio show, you've got the TV show, you're an actress, and so for some people that a lot of that stuff, although you're working in it and you may not see it, but for some people that may go to their head. What are things that kind of help keep you grounded in this industry of hype, in this industry of Hollywood? That keeps you kind of focused on, hey, I got to get, I can't enjoy it too much. I need to sit there and stay focused on grinding and working.
My social media interaction keeps me grounded because I usually get about 200 likes.
Okay.
So that'll keep you grounded.
I mean, that's a good thing, though. It's a good thing.
You're doing better than most. I mean,
30 views, 200 likes, 30 views. So it's two people on this stream thing right now, and
I done told you to show more skin a long time ago. You don't want to listen now.
I maybe I will do that. Maybe I'll have to bust it out and get some skin in the game. But yeah, that keeps me grounded. Just knowing that it's not. I don't think it's God's purpose for me to be this like big, gigantic Beyonce type of star. I think because my love is kind of with people that come from where I'm from, and I haven't stretched myself to go beyond that. Mm-hmm. I think that my place is to stay right here and to sit in it. That's my thoughts. And so
I think that everything you're going through is preparing you for that gigantic opportunity that's really, that's really going to happen. I think you just never know. We both have a friend who equates Hollywood as you have to stand in line and wait for your number to be called. He says, "You got your ticket? Are you in line?" All right, because if you're not in line, you're not going to get called. And so you just kind of, but while you're in that line, you're doing so much, you're meeting so many different people, and you're interacting, and you're getting prepared for that one moment when your number does get called, and
and my biggest thing is I enjoy seeing people that I know be successful. And that's one of the things that I commend is, Tammi, you've always been on the grind. You've always kept doing, and I enjoy every time I see you. It thrills me to see you on TV because I applaud you, even in silence, about your success, because I know how hard it is in LA. I know how hard it is to be committed to the career of acting, to the career of entertainment. And to know that you're still pushing forward, and every time you land a gig, I know how hard and how dedicated it took, how much dedication it took to get where you've been and where you're going. And it's exciting for me. So every time, I just want you to know, every time I see you, I'm celebrating with you. And that's one of the things that I think we miss as a community is the celebration from those around us. And I think you expressed more than anything in this interview. That you do have a very, very positive village, a very strong village. And I just continue to wish you the absolute best, because regardless of where you see yourself going, your stardom, your success, it's inspiring. And I wish you to continue more success and continue to grow in what you're doing. I really do.
Well, thank you so much. I accept that. Thank you so very, very much.
All right, well, we're going to let you go. I know you got to get ready for the Fox Soul show, the Tammi Mac show on Fox Soul. Download the app, and it's also streaming live.
You can watch it on YouTube. If you watch it on YouTube, you can chat live with me. So in 1 hour, I'll be on YouTube on Fox Soul. So make sure you check it out. It's going to be a great show.
And everybody go to Tammi Mac's Instagram and Facebook and like some pictures and share some, and leave a nice comment.
Everybody. It's one person on here, Don.
No, it's like 10. I've got 10.
There's multiple platforms streaming, Tammi. You don't see everybody.
Okay.
We had somebody from South Korea. Okay,
you. We're talking to you. You.
You.
Let me log off so Tammi won't see that. On Fox Soul. Thank you so much for hanging with us, Tammi. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it. I'm honored that y'all asked me to be on the show. Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, what an amazing interview, man. It's one of my good friends. I've known her for the funny thing is that when we first started working together, we didn't get along. And we both had egos, and I remember yelling at her, and and she was trying to warn me about certain things, and I couldn't listen. But you know what? I had from the very jump, I had a very fond respect of her work ethic. And I think over time of us working together for over a decade, we just kind of developed this great relationship, and it's like best friends here. We talk every single day, and I try to help her out as much as I possibly can, just by being a friend or whether it's professional or whatever she needs, and vice versa. So it's
what's crazy? the moment that I remember most about Tammi, because I've met her a couple of times, but the moment I think we became associates in this circle of friendship, there was a birthday party at your house, and again, our late friend Tracy, he pitted us together and made us do a improv. And I don't even know if you remember that, but we did an improv at your dining room table, me and Tammi, and we was going back and forward as this angry couple that just so happened to find out at the end that she was pregnant or whatever the case may be. It was like some craziness or whatever the case. But in that moment, you meet a whole lot of actors and actresses when you're in LA, but you never really respect people because you really don't know their craft until you really get into the scene with them. And in that moment, I was in that scene with her, and I was like, "Damn it, she is bringing it." And so I gotta bring it.
I vaguely remember that. I think I vaguely do remember that. It was a serious scene, right?
It was, man. And I was like, man, hey, she is bringing it so hard that I need to. And I think I was a couple drinks in, but I was watching that, and I was like, shit's getting kind of real in here. It got real serious real fast, and it was like, yo, what's really going on in here? But that is the moment that I realized I was like, this is a real circle of talented people, and I enjoy being a part of it. You and Kim and Tammi and everyone that was in the room that day, I think we became closer behind it. Right. And like I said, just much more continued success and respect to Tammi and all that she's doing, man. I absolutely love it.
Key takeaways from the interview. Number one, don't go on the radio because it's a dying medium, or at least until radio fixes itself. Number two, schedule your own interviews.
Schedule your own interviews. It's the way to go.
Schedule your own interviews.
Forget what's on their schedule. You make their schedule.
You make their schedule and make them call you and tell them no. The other one also, if you come out to LA to be an actress or an actor, time is a commodity. It's a cost of doing business that you have to put some of it in, which I don't think a lot of people really understand, because you get caught up in a lot of these overnight success stories. I came to LA with $100 in my pocket and I got discovered, which is really, it doesn't happen. It's like a 10-year process before you even pop. You know what I'm saying? And that's you just making it on the ground level. And there are some people who've been doing it longer that don't even pop. And just stay consistent and find a village around you that can help you of good people. And it's kind of hard to do in LA.
That village is very important. I think a lot of people don't understand, regardless whether it's LA, wherever you are, your village is extremely important, because those are the people that keep you grounded. Those are the people that keep you focused. And those are the people that's going to tell you the truth when you don't want to hear it. Right. So that village is extremely important. And just so happened in LA, it is probably one of the most important things that you can have around you. A solid village. For real.
Very solid. If you can find good people, because there are good people here, but it's a lot of crap. But if you can find good people, keep them around you. All right. Well, I'm going to hold you up. You got that baby's birthday party, which is the baby's turning 1 year old.
She turned 1 June 1st. It is amazing how fast time flies.
Did you guys ever give her my middle name at all?
We did.
We were talking about the name of the baby a little bit after me, right?
We put the name on the birth certificate, and then they lost it and all records that she was born, and then we had to resubmit, and I forgot to put it back on there. That's my fault.
No little Donisha. No little Donisha.
No, forgive me. It's my fault. You can blame me.
All right. I blame you. The next baby. The next baby. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
All right.
Remind me.
Trust me, I will. All right. You're like, hey, Don, it's happening. I'm like, another one. All right, man. Have a good weekend, and thank you guys all for watching. Like, share, comment this whole thing, and then we'll catch you on the next episode of Whiskey Kind of Day, man. Have a good weekend.
Absolutely.
All right, bye.